Record-breaking discovery, a star at least 50 times the size of the sun and more than 28 billion light years away was spotted by the Hubble Space Telescope.
Iconic Hubble Space Telescope making a major discovery. It spotted the most distant star ever seen. Here's a look at the star that NASA is calling Arendelle. The name translates to morning star in Old English, and old is Arendelle. Apparently it formed less than 1 billion years after the Big Bang.
It's kind of this wonderful gift from the universe.
The gift that keeps on giving.
Well, this was a wonderful coincidence of nature. There is a cluster of galaxies that's closer to us. It's only about 5 billion light years away, and I know that doesn't sound very close. But all of the mass of that cluster, many, many hundreds of galaxies, is actually warping space and time itself. This is something predicted by Albert Einstein 100 years ago. And all of that space, incredibly, is warping into a natural telescope, a telescope made of space and time. And way on the other side of the universe, just conveniently lined up, we think it's just a coincidence.
Apparently, coincidence and nature's their God. This is disgusting. And this guy here disgusts me. He's not a Christian. The Bible tells us that God did not use a Big Bang to create our three-dimensional physical reality. So everything this guy puts forth is in complete contradiction to the Bible and the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Israel. Okay, they're using one galaxy 5 billion light years away that is somehow warping space and time that allows them to see another 28 billion light years away. Do you even know that 1 light year is almost 6 trillion miles? That's just 1 light year. And 1 trillion seconds would take over 30,000 years to go by. That's 1 trillion seconds. Now imagine 1 trillion miles. 1 light year is almost 6 trillion miles. And they want you to believe what you will because you instantaneously believe everything they say, per being programmed to do so or systematically dumbed down, that they can see 28 billion light years away. With each light, that's 6 trillion for each light year times 28 billion. Do you know how far that is? That's past infinity. Okay? These people are liars. This lady, oh God, I know who she is. She is a degenerate liar. She knows she's lying. At NASA.gov, they show you an hour video how their team of artists make these artist renderings and conceptions. They say Hubble collects data, white noise light, that they transform into what they think it would look like. Go to NASA.gov and the video's there, how their team of artists give us the pictures from data from their fake Hubble garbage. Why isn't there the Hubble showing anything that they say Apollo did on the moon? That's only a 250,000 miles away. Why isn't Hubble filming rockets leaving the Earth? Why do we never see rockets from that aspect? This lady knows that regardless of shape, be the Earth a ball, a pizza, a cube, it doesn't matter that the Earth, gas and oxygen could not stay on the Earth if it was within, surrounded by, or directly next to an infinite and expanding vacuum universe. Go learn what a vacuum is. Okay, when gas and oxygen come into contact with we can only make puny vacuums. Okay, the vacuum of outer space that they say is 10 to the negative 17 torr, super duper trooper vacuum, 1,000,000 times more void of air than any puny vacuum or chamber that we can suck the air out of, creating a vacuum. when gas and oxygen come into contact with the puniest of vacuums we make, the gas and oxygen go into that vacuum and fill it. And it damn sure looks like it's getting sucked in. And other videos, I prove vacuums suck. But I don't even need to go there, because the bottom line is the gas and oxygen always go into the vacuum and nothing stops it. Not your false god of gravity, because we make these vacuums at sea level where they say gravity has more influence, it's stronger. But the gas and oxygen always go in the vacuum, nothing stops it. And there's no way that the Earth could be surrounded by or within, directly next to, an infinite and expanding vacuum universe. Vacuums cannot exist unless we make them. They can only be made in a container or chamber, something with walls to contain them. Once contained, they cannot expand. So, if the infinite and expanding vacuum universe is expanding, what they call inflation, it would expand right into the Earth. The Earth's alleged gas and oxygen 5 layers atmospheres. And the gas and oxygen would be gone. It's a second law of thermodynamics and entropy violation. That's how I do know that the Earth is not within or surrounded by an infinite and expanding vacuum. These are lies. And Jason A., he doesn't even put a Bible verse at the end of his video anymore. He is promoting signs and great wonders that will deceive people, outlined in Matthew chapter 24. That the signs and wonders will be so great that even if possible, the very elect, the saints, will be deceived by them. And she says that some galaxy 5 billion light years away, with each one of those 5 billion light years being 6 trillion miles apiece, is warping space and time? Maybe I took a nap at the wrong time of day, but can someone direct me to the citation where they detected space-time, the alleged fabric of space-time? To my knowledge, they've never done that. It is a theory of Einstein's relativity that she says predicted this garbage 100 years ago. This prediction is a script, and they follow it. Okay, and they're announcing this garbage to say, well, Einstein predicted it 100 years ago, and he was right. No, he was wrong. There's nothing within his theory of relativity or special relativity that can be demonstrated before you on the Earth. Okay, time is a concept. It is not a thing. Time does not have presence or substance of itself. And anyone, even with a 79-point IQ, can understand time is a concept that we use to synchronize with one another from one moment to the next, to be somewhere at the same time, or to show up somewhere at a certain time, or leave. Yesterday and tomorrow do not really exist. Yesterday has no presence and substance. It is just a word, a means for us to remember things we did. So we say yesterday. Tomorrow is just a word and a means to plan for things we want to do. Time has no presence and substance of itself. What we experience, whether it's day or night, whether the sun appears or departs, is the constant present. It is always the constant present. This lady's a liar. Space-time. So now the infinite and expanding vacuum universe has the fabric of space-time in it. And this is all based off what a plagiarist, scumbag, nutcase, Einstein, who stole ideas allegedly at a patent office where they say he was a clerk. Because the theory of relativity predates his ass. I forgot the guy's name, but many of these liars of scientism say he stole that idea from another guy before him. And they are ideas. Fantastical ideas. They cannot be demonstrated. Time dilation cannot be demonstrated. They will tell you that a satellite has a program, a mathematical program, to deal with time dilation, or that time slows down at altitude. No, it doesn't. Like I said, time is not a thing. When you climb a mountain or reach a high altitude, it is not time slowing down, but it is the equipment or means you are using to track time. It is the device. Okay? It is not time itself slowing down. It is the watch being affected by altitude or any number of different things. I don't even like to get into that and that pressure differential nonsense. Okay? How can 14.7 psi be pushing down on us and simultaneously pushing up in the same column of air, pushing down 14.7 psi and pushing up to do what they call canceling out or equalizing? They equalize each other so we in the middle feel nothing, but we can feel a 5-mile-per-hour gust of air blow by. So how is that logical? 14.7 psi would be a bowling ball per every little square inch. A squared inch, about that big, the weight of a bowling ball, or the weight of a small car pushing down on you. And then the same thing is going on underneath you, upwards. They'll show an arrow pushing down and an arrow pushing up with your hand in the middle, and that it equalizes. And that your hand is in the way means nothing. You will not feel it pushing down or up. And that is illogical. For that to be going on, it cancels one another out, but we can feel some other kind of oxygen that blows at 5, 10, 15, 20, and 25 miles per hour, up, down, left, right, and diagonally. It is all illogical.
Prove or disprove hypotheses like string theory, the Big Bang theory, and now we are one step closer to unwrapping these mysteries of our universe.
Okay, so like I said, all this nonsense is one theory after another. String theory, the Big Bang theory, black hole theory. It's all theory. If you bring up one theory, you have to bring up another and another to support the first one. Because a theory is a theory because it cannot be demonstrated. Okay? And go look it up, for God's sakes. Even Google tells you that a theory is a theory because it contains some general principles that in of themselves are facts, but they are independent. They do not prove the theory unless you link the two by direct evidence. So the only way a theory can exist is if there are some general principles, but they do not in of themselves prove that theory. Like gravity, things fall down, that is a fact, but just because something falls down does not prove gravity because they cannot link the two. They cannot directly detect any force or power of gravity interacting, engaging, or engulfing things falling down. So in a nutshell, I could go on and on about this. These lies will always exist whilst evil is among us. They will never tell the truth, and they will offer one thing after another to deter you from any belief in a creator. Read Matthew chapter 24 and you'll know the truth.